it's Mo. It's January and it is time to talk about my 2022 goals, see how I did on them, and create some goals for 2023. I always get so excited to do this video. I'm always excited to look back at my previous videos, see what my goals were for the previous year, look at my mid-year goal check-in, see how I did for the first 6 months of the year, and then what I accomplished in the second half, and create new goals based on that and other things that I learned throughout the previous year. I get excited to make goals for the new year. And then I procrastinate making this video and I procrastinate putting this video up, and I don't really know why. I don't know if it's because it really solidifies the goals that I'm going to make and I want to keep playing around with them, or if it just really signals the end of 2022 and so I have to face the facts of starting your goals from zero, starting new goals. But today we're finally going to talk about my 2022 goals and make plans for 2023. I don't know what is going on with the lighting in my house recently, but every time I sit down to film, the light is extremely blue. When I'm filming at other times or other places, it's not, but right now it is. It keeps going in and out of the shadows too, so when you see it change like this, it's the lighting outside, not my inside lighting. I don't know why it wants me to be blue. I'm not blue. In 2022, I had some basic goals. I set my Goodreads goal at 75 books, and I surpassed this goal in 2022. I read 135 books. So that was a good goal and an easy one in the beginning of this video that we can just check off. Next, I wanted to read more diversely, and I think that I did this as well. I read from many different countries this year. I also read fairly diversely in genre. This was the year that I really got into horror. I did read some romances, which is something that I had kind of on my radar for 2022, but not as many as I would have liked or thought I was going to, so that's a possibility for 2023. I had wanted to read from 4 specific countries: Canada, Nigeria, Australia, and the Caribbean, and I didn't really accomplish that in the way that I had wanted to. I did read a couple of Canadian authors. I was happy to find out that Rupi Kaur is Canadian the other day because I was like, oh, that checks another Canadian author on my list. I read very few books from Nigeria, no books from Australia, no, 1 or 2 books from Australia, and I think 1 or 2 books from the Caribbean, so not as good as I would have liked. Another of my goals in 2022 was to keep track of my recently acquired books, and I did this with a recently acquired books project and spreadsheet. You can see my recently acquired books spreadsheet check-in for mid-year in the description box below, and I will be having a recap of all of 2022 and my recently acquired books and my spreadsheet coming out soon. Spoilers, I will be continuing the RAB project, but in a different form. Then I also wanted to keep up my love of reading, so of course I have kept up my love of reading. During my mid-month check-in, I talked about these reading goals again. At that point, I had read 60 books, so I was well on my way to surpassing the 75 book goal. I had read quite a few Indigenous authors, and that's something that I kept up for the rest of the year, so I was quite happy with that. I also read quite a few African authors. That wasn't a goal in the beginning of 2022, but it was something that I found that I really enjoyed. I did have Nigeria on my goal, but I ended up reading more diversely in Africa. I read quite a few books from or about Kenya, and I read a book about South Africa. I read a book that was partly about Togo. So even though I had wanted to focus on Nigeria, I ended up reading more diversely from Africa in general. In my 6-month check-in, I talked about my recently acquired books, and like I said, I did a mid-year check-in with that. In my 2022 mid-year goals check-in, I talked about how much reading really helps with my mental health and how much 2022 was the year that I realized that my reading practice is very meditative and very much a way for me to feel grounded and well mentally, as well as enjoy time reading. But I did talk about how maybe I was reading a little bit too much and that I maybe wasn't getting everything I could out of every book because I was reading at such a high volume. And then my channel goals in the beginning of 2022 were to grow my channel, and I was hoping to grow more rapidly than I did the previous year and to grow my community. And I think that overall I did achieve that. I think right before my mid-month check-in I had just hit 200 subscribers, which was amazing. And so it was a more rapid growth over time than the previous year. But in the latter half of the year I kind of slowed down on my growth and went back and forward a lot. As we all know, you gain subscribers, you lose subscribers, you gain subscribers. But when you have thousands or hundreds of thousands of subscribers, you don't think so intently on those gains and losses. But when you are a very small channel, even a few people who choose to unsubscribe from you feels like a big loss. The next channel goal I had was join one sprint. So I did end up joining one sprint, but I had not done that by my mid-month goals check-in, so I felt a little bad about that. But I ended up joining Leanna's Cat Lady Weekend sprint, and that was amazing. That was the first sprint I ever really joined, and I do want to continue that into the new year. Another goal that I had was to have my own sprint, and that did not happen, and we'll talk more about that later. I wanted to make more varied videos starting in 2022. So in 2021, I had made quite a few sustainability videos. I do try to lead a zero waste and plastic free lifestyle. I lead a used lifestyle, as in I don't buy anything new. I don't buy new books. I don't buy new clothes. I don't buy new furniture. And I wanted to make more videos about that and about how BookTube could also be sustainable or could work on its sustainability. So I didn't end up doing that. In my 6-month goals check-in, I did, I think, talk about the idea of doing some service industry videos as well, which, although weren't an actual goal, did fit in with the varied videos idea. The one thing that I think I did do in 2022 with varied videos is I really started to hone in on my want to explore New Jersey in my videos. I'm from New Jersey originally, I live in New Jersey now, and New Jersey gets a bad rap, but it's actually quite a beautiful state with a lot of interesting things going on. So in the latter half of 2022, I did start making more New Jersey videos. I made a video about Grounds for Sculpture, which is a really cool sculpture park. I made a video about Princeton, where Princeton University is, and I made a lot of little free library videos featuring different areas in New Jersey. So that's something that I want to expand upon and continue. So I felt good about that part of making varied videos. And the next goal in the beginning of the year was 30-day challenges. In the beginning of 2022, I had written down and was excited for quite a few 30-day challenges that I wanted to do, and I ended up not doing any of them, and by the time I did my 6-month goals check-in, I had totally abandoned this goal. Another goal that was quickly abandoned was doing more interviews on my channel, and I do want to interview my friends and family and other people I know who read for this channel at some point, but by my mid-year check-in, I had decided that this was not a goal that was going to happen in 2022. In the beginning of the year, I wanted to be more comfortable, become a better filmmaker and editor, and I think I am more comfortable, and I think I had ebbs and flows throughout the year where sometimes I feel really comfortable, I'm in like a zone, I'm scheduling my videos, I have them pre-prepared, I'm filming and editing and doing all this stuff, and it feels like natural and balanced. And sometimes, like at the end of the year this year when I got sick during Bookmas, it's a total struggle and it's really hard and I feel very discouraged. So I still would like to be more comfortable, and I think that I didn't become a better filmmaker or editor over 2022. That is still something I'd like to pursue. And the final goal was to just have fun with BookTube, and that hasn't changed. I have had some struggles this year with BookTube, but I do love BookTube. I love making videos. It's a great creative outlet for me. I've always had multiple creative outlets. I've painted, drawn, made comics, sewed, made quilts, done a lot of various things, and this is just one more of the things that feels like a great avenue to be creative, to be involved with the community, to meet new people, and to share my love of reading. Those were my goals for 2022, and now on to the new goals for 2023. My 2023 goals are fairly similar to 2022. I have already set my Storygraph and my Goodreads goal to 75 books, and so far I'm ahead of track. Although I set my goal to 75 books in 2022 but read 135 books, this year I'm kind of hoping that I maybe don't read that much. I think that 135 books was amazing and probably more books than I've ever read my whole life in one year. But I don't know if I need to be reading that many books every year. So maybe somewhere between those two numbers would be a sweet spot for me. The next goal I always have and that I continue to have is to read more diversely. I read about 20% queer books in 2022, and I would like to get that number up to closer to 30% of the books that I'm reading will be queer or have queer themes or have queer authors. I want to continue to read Indigenous works, basically one a month, if not more. I would like to see that number go up. I've found that I really like the common themes and ideas in American or Canadian Indigenous works, but I would also like to read Indigenous works from other countries. In 2022, I worked out that I read a little over 40% of books by people of color out of my entire reading for the year, and I was so happy that the number was that high. I think it's really important to read diversely in people who have different experiences than you, places that are different than your own, lifestyles that are different than your own, histories, backgrounds, and futures that are different than your own. So reading people of color is an important goal for me again in 2023. I would like to see my percentage number go up to at least 50%, but ideally it would be over that. In 2023, I am going to be continuing my RAB spreadsheet, but it is going to look quite different. Not the spreadsheet itself, but the challenge that I am placing on myself for 2023. In 2022, I wanted to see just naturally how many books I acquired. So every book that I acquired, I wrote on my RAB spreadsheet, and every month I did a book haul or a recently acquired books video to let you know what I had acquired in that month. Now I have all that data from 2022 that I can work with in 2023, and the main takeaway, spoilers for my RAB spreadsheet video, is that I acquired a lot of books. Too many books. More books certainly than I read in the year, and more books than I would be able to read in my lifetime if I continued at that pace. For this year, for my RAB spreadsheet, I will be doing things a little differently. You'll have to watch that video to see all the details. One big change for 2023 is that I will not be doing hauls or recently acquired book videos for every month. Another challenge that I've joined that's helping me with my RAB challenge is the Read What You Own challenge. So Ollie at Criminali has a Read What You Own challenge where you have to set a number of books that you want to read off your own shelves before you buy or acquire new books. Or used books, you know what I mean. I've set my first goal at 25 books. I'm just under halfway there already, so I think I'm doing well on this challenge. There's a bunch of rules and stuff that I've set myself, so I will leave my challenge video in the description box below. I think that this and being mindful of my RAB is encouraging me not to pick up books as often. That is a goal that I have for this year and something that will continue and we will talk more about. Continuing with reading goals, I still want to read for my mental health. Like I said, I really enjoy reading and I find that it centers and grounds me, and I love to have that as part of my morning routine, as part of my daily routine, and as something that I do every day. And I want to continue my love of reading. That's always a goal. I never want my reading to be out of balance or become out of proportion with other things that I need to do in my life, and I never want being on booktube to become stressful or reading to become stressful, because for me, I still read for enjoyment. Yes, I like to share my reading. Yes, I like to meet my challenges, but if I don't, if I read one book a year, if I read 100 books a year, as long as I'm enjoying myself and being mindful of my mental health with reading, then I'm winning. On to channel goals for 2023. The biggest goal that I have is to keep up with comments. It's the middle of January and I'm already slipping behind on this goal because I have not answered comments basically all month. I don't know how I got in this cycle of loving comments, being so excited to see them, and then feeling really stressed to answer them. But I think a way to get out of that is to answer comments as soon as they come in, as close to as possible, or create a routine daily where I take 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and answer all the comments in my comment box on BookTube. This one is really important to me because one of the best things about BookTube is the community, and I love to talk to everyone. I love to find out what my BookTube friends are doing and reading, what they think of what I'm reading, what their ideas of my videos are, what their thoughts are. And if I don't answer the comments, we're not having a dialogue. So I need to get better at that this year. That kind of goes right along with being consistent with the community. I do want to write more comments as well. I do a pretty good job, I think, of writing comments and liking videos and making sure that I'm engaging videos and with booktubers that I love their channels so that their channels can continue to grow as well. And I really want to continue that in 2023 and get even better at it. A holdover goal for 2023 is to join sprints. I want to make sure to join sprints, and again, I think something that will help me with this is maybe building in some kind of routine where I join sprints once a week, and I have to check that off my checklist to feel satisfied, or maybe twice a week. Or if I know certain people always have scheduled sprints, I make sure that I'm always on those sprints. Because I think they're a great way to engage with the community, but they're also a great way to have your reading be involved with the community in a different manner than just talking about books to a camera and then answering comments. You get to really talk to people as they're reading and as things are happening, and you get to communicate in a different way. It's also a goal in 2023 to have a reading sprint. I know, I really need to do this. I just need to figure out, again, a schedule, a routine, or a reason that makes me feel comfortable to have a reading sprint and then just do it. I need to not worry about how no one is going to join me, because maybe they will and maybe they won't, but that's not the point. The point is to do it, and then if you're enjoying yourself, if you're doing things you love, especially if you're putting them out on the internet, people will be drawn to that and you will gain community that way. Another big goal, a goal that I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to accomplish, but I'm going to try, is to have a little readathon this year. So last year I toyed with the idea of having a readathon, but I was changing jobs at the time and I had come up with a bunch of ideas and prompts and thoughts on it, but it just wasn't the right time for it. I think I would like to try and do that this year. And again, just like with the sprint, I have to not worry about the other part of that, the next part of it. It's the doing it part, and then the results will follow. A goal for me is still to become a better filmmaker and a better editor. I have some ideas for projects that I would like to do to become a better editor on my own, but I honestly think that maybe taking a class or a course or a free instructional or a paid instructional will really help me on my way to being a more dynamic booktuber. Another goal that I have for my booktube channel is to make a wider variety of videos. I love to do booktube videos. I love to do videos about books, tags. I love to do all those things that are part of the booktube canon, but I really miss making sustainability videos. I really want to make more New Jersey videos. I want to continue doing that. And I think all of those things will just help get a better feel for my channel. Not everyone will watch every video, but I will have a more well-rounded online presence, and more of myself will be given to my viewers. And that kind of brings me to my last goal, which is to hopefully, ideally, reach 500 subs. Now, I know that this isn't something I have actual total control over, and mostly it's just up to the booktube gods and the universe, but I think being more consistent in commenting, being more consistent in answering comments, being a better filmmaker, being a better editor, and being more engaged in general will help me with this goal. So that's, what I'm hoping for. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's not all about the numbers, but the numbers are nice. One thing that I've noticed in a lot of people's goals videos this year is that they want to continue making videos the way they want to make them, and they want to continue doing booktube the way they want to do it. They don't want to do shorts, which I don't either. And they don't want to be beholden to the algorithm or the changing idea of booktube. I wonder what your thoughts are on that. I personally don't think I would ever change what I was doing unless I was inspired to do so. I don't feel pressure to do shorts. I don't feel pressure to change the way my videos work because I'm not in it to have the most followers or be the biggest booktube channel ever, partly because I know that will never happen, but partly because I'm in it to feel happy and do fun things and feel creative and be inspired and to chat with you because you're the people that I chat with books about. So I personally don't feel that pressure, but I would love to know, as a viewer of mine, as a reader, as a booktuber, what are your thoughts on people worrying about having to change their channels to meet other people's expectations? Do you feel that pressure? Have you changed something that you're doing to gain more subs or to be more popular on booktube? And how did you feel about that? Did you worry when you were doing it? Did you feel pressured? Did you feel stressed? Or was it something that you were inspired and happy to do? So let me know the answer to that in the comments below. Let me know what one of your 2023 goals are. Let me know if you have any questions about mine. And thanks so much for joining me today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.